Guten Tag, Herr. Oh, I forgot your last name. This makes me feel stupid. I'm in class. Gerhard. You can see the limit of my German. Let me get back so I can see what I'm doing here, because it hides when I go back to the main combo, main sheet. And there's my Hangout. Thank you for your question first. On my return message to you in Facebook, I asked how in your mind you would picture a, basically I was saying 2x4 by a yard long in American. You wouldn't think of it mathematically, you would think of a big board. So that's the whole point. 3D is fairly simple. I'm not sure what versions of AutoCAD you have gone through, but if you've used Inventor, you've been in 3D. In fact, it was 3D capable back in AutoCAD 14. Not real super efficient, but it was 3D capable. Might even have been capable in 12, because that's the one I was looking at to teach, but then they went to 14. Boy, was that a long time ago. So, I will start screen share here. And your downloaded copy of SketchUp will not look like this. I have tweaked mine to suit my own taste. In woodworlds.com, there are 3 or 4 tutorials on how and why I set my workbench up to look like this. So I got to get out of my lecture mode and just talk. I start lecturing, my throat starts hurting. I also just went brain dead when I interrupted myself. Anyway, you can look through those tutorials, or you can just keep it the way it defaults and transfer my instructions to wherever you like your particular icons to be set up at. One thing you'll see that I have is Outliner. I know nothing about VersaCAD. It's been 3 years now since I've used any version of AutoCAD. But look at Outliner as Windows Explorer. You have a bunch of files, or in this case, just one file, visible. If you mouse button 1, which I will explain shortly for people that are coming in late, I don't say right or left mouse button because 15% of the population is left-handed. I say mouse button 1, which is your index finger, mouse button 2, which is either the middle mouse button or the scroll wheel. Mouse button 3 is your ring finger. When you click in the outliner, you can see that it highlighted on my screen. I'm going to get rid of that. Woodworlds.com used to have a plugin, and Bill can confirm this, whether it's still there or not, with whether it's still available, called Create Board. Mine is set up in inches. Please bear with me. I've worked both for so long. What I'm going to do is just go into Create Board, and I'm going to leave everything like it is. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to place it on the origin. Now, colored origins are familiar to you. They do not refer to them as X, Y, and Z. This is a red origin, green origin, or axes, and blue. Translated, red is X, Y is green, blue is Z. Big deal. That's almost universal now. Even the high-end programs, as far as all of them, have gone to that pictorial representation. So you can see that when I made that board, it plugged in a component on its own. Now, with this component, you can do several things with it, and you're talking about a simple box. So the first thing I'll do is make the absolute most simplest one I can. This icon is rotate component, as opposed to this protractor, which is to rotate other things. I'll explain that in a few minutes. I'm going to grab my component, and I'm going to simply rotate it on the x-axis 90 degrees. You'll notice my cursor changed to have a little plus on it. That gave me the copy command. And then, of course, when you hit spacebar before you're done, you lose it anyway. So I'll show you what happens if you don't hold just spacebar or control key down. See, it just kind of goes, you can move individual components. So I'll do this again. Get away from it so I can close it. This is going to be a simple butt jointed box. Now you can see I already have two sides. Another way that you can create surfaces, and I'll say that rather than elements, surfaces, is you can do it with this tool, and I'll stop, called the rectangle tool. You can create one on the XY axis, or if you've got existing geometry there, you can create it from the existing solids or lines. So you don't have to, even though you can change the XY axes, the UCS, if you're conversant with that, you are. WCS, CSIS, all of those things are all the same process. You can use the existing geometry to give it direction. Now, I have a face here. If I double mouse click one, it highlights that face. And I'm going to use hotkeys. I'm sure you're familiar with them. I've set up my own, and there's also a write-up in woodworlds.com on how to do that. Shift-C is my hotkey to make a component. So I am going to make this face with its 4 lines a component. Double mouse click there to activate it, and now I'm inside of it, and I'm going to pull this out 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to take that same component and I'm going to copy it the length of my box. Now, this is just an open box. You can see it's fairly simple. Let's make the top a little prettier than just a flat sit-on top. I'm going to go into my rectangle tool again, and I'm going to grab this inside corner and this inside corner. Now I have another face. I will make that by double-clicking it, make all that component geometry active. Shift-C again to make myself a second component. Now, here's one nice thing of using Outliner. I want to get rid, without putting on layers and a whole bunch of other stuff, I just want to hide this. I want to get rid of this one. Clear up some. Now, what I want to do is make this active. I want to extrude this part down 1/4 inch. And on this top part, and this is called push-pull. I hate that term. We have bugs in Florida. They're the push-me-pull me's. I don't like them. It's an extrude key function. That's what I refer to it as. Also, we have another icon right here called scale. I'm not going to use that yet, but I will in a second. Then we have one here called offset. And if we go up to here and offset it let's try 0.5 so it doesn't overlap. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't like what I just did, but the fix is easy. I'm going to take this up and I'm going to put up 3/8 of an inch. By removing that one line element, I made that top a complete solid feature. And I'm going to delete the other 2 lines. Now, we have, let's put back in 2 of these. You can see again, I mouse button 1 on each of the 2 I wanted to show. Mouse button 3 will unhide them. And you can see that's a hammer fit. That's not good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this scale feature again after I make my component active, or it will mess things up royally. Now I will select that top and go into scale, which is right there. And there are several ways to handle this edit. I'm just going to do one easy. I have several videos out there on how to do it, and I'll answer questions again anyway. I grabbed one corner. You can see it says uniform scale about opposite point. Well, I don't really want that. I want to hold my control key down, and then it says uniform scale around center. I just let it fall in a little bit. This is only for, you need something, baby? No. Okay. This was only to give a little bevel here. There are plugins for bevels. This is not something you have to be critical about. It's just something to give it a little positive seat. Select that one and hold the shift key down. Unhide. Now we have a box. You can see, like in every CAD program, once you get something done, you can find out you didn't really want it that way, or you're really, really happy with it. If we were to decide that no, we really don't want it to just be pin-nailed and glued as butt joints all over the place, we can take and hide the top. And we can miter these corners fairly quickly. I'll show you how to do that. Make this one active. Go ahead and put a, now I'll get into these 2 functions right here. The tape measure tool and the protractor tool. First, in the tape measure tool, if you come up to an element and double mouse click 1 on it, we'll get an infinite line that's dashed saying, okay, this is a guideline, which is exactly what it is. Now, with this tool, the protractor tool, you can pick that existing element by picking a pivot point and then a lever, and down in the corner where it says angle, you can enter 45 here, or you can just drag it until it defaults to it. Hit the space bar to release everything. Go into this function, which is a pencil to make a line, and you can go across here, and now you can see that the geometry has changed on this top surface into 2 separate surfaces. Therefore, we can take this surface and pull it all the way down, and we have a miter on that corner. We also have a miter on this corner, the wrong direction. So this is something you have to kind of keep in mind when you are making just copies of elements. Sometimes you would rather copy them in a circular format than in a linear format, which I could have done. And I will even go do that by hiding this one. And I would like to go in, making sure that nothing is highlighted over here, so I don't add geometry to stuff that I really don't even want to mess with. And I just put in a line. That's all it is line in space. But now I can take this element and go back into my rotate, and as you go along, you will see it grab a grip. Grab a pivot point, grab a lever point, and now remember what I said, if you don't hold the control key down, it actually moves it. So I just kind of drag it back over here and roll control key over here so that we are at 180 degrees. We can do similar functions on this corner, and we can do the inverse, which is adding geometry to this corner. In fact, let's just go ahead and do that, because I just thought of another way to do it, and I want to see if it works. Okay, my component is active. I'm going to go into that component and make a 2-line addition. Now you can see that I have a face there. So I'll go into Extrude, and it doesn't want to pull down. And there. Oh, ha! Yeah, when you do a triple change, or use a part 3 times, you'll get this effect on the bottom, which is not something you want. That's why you've got to kind of have up front which one you want to change and what you want to make unique. So what I'm going to do is Control Z. I'm going to take that element completely out. I'm going to make this component up here, mouse button 1, mouse button 3, make unique. Now I can go back into this one, get my 3D mouse, or, yes, I spent $100, 80 euros, whatever it would be, on a 3D mouse. The Germans have a real nice one, but I just got this from 3D Connection. It makes life so much easier. I'll go back into my 2-point line construction, activate that surface, and bring it down to there. Now, what we've done, though, is we've kind of corrupted the part. I'll hide that. This line, and this line, except I wasn't holding the control key now, need to go away. Highlight them with the control key, hit delete. And now you have a complete smooth face on this side. Otherwise, you have a face with, or a side with 2 faces to it. Okay, we've showed several options on miters, on how to do them. Let's Control Z, which is my hotkey to get rid of a lot of stuff. There, we should be back to basics. Okay, let's for a second think that we want to make just a simple through tenon here. We're going to go ahead and we want to through tenon on all 3 faces. So this one I'm going to leave, but I'm going to go change that one later. What I'm going to do is hide this one. I'm going to go into here. I'm going to make this active, and I'm going to go back into my offset tool. That's probably not small enough, but we'll live with it. Oh, and it's going to be okay this time. Make this active again, and extrude this one out 1/2 inch. Put my component 1 back in here, and then I can use this geometry to make component 1 active, and I'll just go ahead and make a rectangle here, rectangle here, rectangle here. Hide these simply so we can see them. And since these parts are the same part, you'll see the same event happening to both of them. So I'll make this one active. There. Ah. Okay. Extrude that one 0.5. Now, if I don't do anything else, it remembers that 0.5. Also, it remembers it the wrong way. Okay. We'll do it the hard way. Now, we'll pick the first 3 components and unhide them, and you'll notice that we don't have anything here. If we make this one active, we can use the same geometry. We can offset it, or since it's already here, just grab that corner, and this corner. No, I don't have to do that. I was going to do too much work. Okay, make this one active again. That one is a surface, and we can extrude it out 0.5. Now, 2 things I haven't hit on that really were not involved in creating a box. And you can see creating a box is really simple. Is dimensions, which is down here. That looks like a dimension. I'm just going to put some dimensions on here. And there's several ways to do it. And if you're working outside of a component, you have to pick both ends. If I were inside the component, let's go inside of this one. Let's do this. I'm confused exactly what I want to do because I'm doing more than I had anticipated. When you're inside of a component, if you get the line element controlling it, you can create a dimension for that specific object. Something else. Paint bucket, I have a hotkey. The normal hotkey that they provide is B. I don't like that because it's right above my space bar and I'm clumsy. So I changed it to be Alt B, so I wasn't always hitting the thing when I wanted to do a space something. And it takes a while to load up. Some of these I loaded on my own. In fact, if that's cherry, that's birch. Okay, that'll work. Here we have birch size, and let's do plywood would not. Let's try that. Oh, that's truly ugly. I don't know where that came from. Let's not use that one. There. Now, those two are really not enough of a difference in color to be usable. Before I do a finished project and put in these kind of colors, I go in and put obnoxiously bright colors on so I can actually look at the thing and say, oh, okay, I know what piece I'm working on now. One of the other things that you requested was a handle. So let's go ahead and unhide this one. Trimble has a warehouse of pre-done, lots of pre-done models. I'm not sure I can access it because they're really kind of fussy about it now. The easiest one, of course, is a handle in the end. So what we'll do is outside of the feature, I'm just going to make a little cutout here. And then I'll come in here, and this is not going to be pretty. It's just to show you that you can do it fairly quick. Now, it also created, and there's some extra junk geometry in here too, because of the way I created it. Control Z. Get that one over here. Now, I could go into this component and make it active. In fact, I'll just do that. I won't get too fancy right now. Endpoint outside active. Endpoint outside active. Add circle. Endpoint. Endpoint. Add circle. Go into my line function, which is the pencil. Get out of that entirely because I want to get rid of that part. Okay, that was on my main model layer, and I didn't want to, and that's not the right term, because we do have layers here. So I've got that highlighted with push-pull, extrude, 0.5. Now you have a handle on the side. You can also go in and tweak that by putting more geometry around it and round it off. Okay, we want a handle that is prettier. So let's just rotate it to the top, and I'm going to just put some geometry in here. And I didn't want that. You'll notice that it grabs elements outside of where you want to look. You've got to be careful with this program that it doesn't just give you something way off in space, because it will grab grip points everywhere. So let's just move this out some more so it doesn't want to grab all sorts of junk. Now you can see we have 3 faces there. I only want 1 face. And I'll leave this. You can see it's ugly. I'll show you how to true it up a little bit using dimensions. So, dimension. Go in here. Sort of that dimension. And sort of that dimension. I probably should have done this metric, but you'll get the same little tildes in front of metric dimensions. It means it's not exactly anything. So, spacebar to make sure we're out of the dimension function. Go into this. And now we can move this element. And you'll notice that the dimension starts changing. And right there, at 1 1/8 inch, we have a good solid element. Spacebar, select this one, take it and move it until we get a nice 7/8 look good. Come on. Oh, 31 or 30 seconds. That's okay, because now I can take that and move it 30 seconds. If it didn't type in 30 seconds, I typed in a weird thing. Let's see if we can overdo that. Oh, time button. Spacebar that sucker out. Now I'll grab it again and move it. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. It's easier to add metric on the fly in your head. Okay, now we have something that looks like it might end up being a handle of some sort, but let's give it, rather than just being a clunky square, let's go back into our tape measure tool, put a line here, 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 and here. Now we're going to go into the move tool and we're going to copy these lines. In fact, we'll copy both of these. Hold the control key down and let's do a quarter. Except it didn't copy. Control Z. I did it copy. 0.25. And actually, I wanted to do that with another line, and I didn't. Control Z again. Spacebar a couple times to clear everything out, because I want this one to move also. Spacebar to clear everything out. Grab this one, this one, this one, and move them this way the same amount. And I'm going to move this one down. But I'm going to move it down a half an inch. I'm going to copy it in half. It's a little thing different here. Okay, and I needed this line. Let's go back to the top view. Now I'll explain these icons here. These are your pre-canned views, and that's top. So I'm looking at it upside down. I'm going to take this line, not that one, this one. This line didn't move before. It went someplace else. Okay, which happens sometimes. It just sometimes things don't go exactly like you want them to. 0.25. And we'll take this one and do the half. Copy it a half again. There. Now, what I'm going to do is go into my corner function again. I'm going to go from here to here and let it be tangent. From here to here and let it be tangent. And I needed one up here, didn't I? No, I don't have it. But I want to go from here to here, and I want it to be tangent as close as possible with this top one. I want to do the same thing here. Now I'll move this one again. So copy 0.25. And I'll go into my corner tool again, here to here, tangent to edge, here to here, tangent to edge. Now, I have shape. Right now, I want to make this a component. Shift-C. Because I didn't want all of these other lines in there. So now, I'm going to make that. Grabbed it all anyway. Okay. No, it didn't, because I didn't do something that I try to want everybody to do. I'm going to do it again. Shift-C. If this is not highlighted, if this is not checked like that, that component disappears. It's there electronically, but you're not going to find it. Now I'll create it. Now I can make it active. And make a nice chunky handle on top. Granted, we still do not have the handle part of it, but we can do that pretty much the same way we did here. And all we have to do is go back to... I'm going to interrupt myself. I'm going to go into mouse button 1 on Edit and Delete Guides. Now I'll take this component, I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Now it's not in the center. You can go ahead and center it. Put it diagonal if you want to. Let's go back to an ISO view here. Don't like an ISO from the bottom up. It did not get my fillets here, which is okay as far as I'm concerned right now. It's showing what I want to do. It didn't get it because I didn't get rid of those two elements right there when I made my component. I have a thought and it's escaping my little pea brain right now. Man, I hate that. I interrupted myself on the get rid of the guidelines, and then I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh, yes! We have this many components, but you're not going to build it that way. So let's go in and select component. See, this one highlights, the ends highlight. So let's click here and go down to here, and now we have all of these parts highlighted. It'd be nice if that were its own component. Shift-C, box, base. Select that one, and you'll notice I did it on the drawing pane on my workbench. You can do it at either spot. Shift-C, box, lid. Now, you have a functional little tote. This does not even have to be a usable handle. It's usable this way for a little bit small. But basically, that's how you do it. Except always, if you want to save it, make sure you go in and say, save. And you'll get something that pops up. Flashbox. And now I have it in my folder. Turn screen share off. There. Very simple. It'll take longer for you to go through this the first time to listen to my blabbering than it will the third time you want to do the box. But you have my Facebook account. I know there's 5-6 hours difference, but I will try to get back to you if you just have a simple question. I'll try to answer it there. If you have a more elaborate one, I love making classes. This will be posted on my Google Plus page, while it'll be on iSketchUp You Can Too, Google Plus. It will also be posted in woodworlds.com by Bill, and it will be on my iSketchUp You Can Too Facebook page. And if you, since you're not afraid of Facebook, if you go over to that page and like it, I would appreciate that. Thank you, sir.